Good evening, Trinidad and Tobago, and across the globe. Welcome to Real Talk Corner. Hadassah, how are you?
Hi, I am fine, thank you. How are you, Esther?
Good evening, everybody. This is Real Talk Corner, and this is where conversation sparks change and every voice matters. I'm your host, Dr. Esther Cruickshank, and with me is my beautiful co host, Hadassah Charles McLeod. What a wonderful evening it is! It's Friday, the 22nd of August in the year 2025. And if you tell me that this year the days are not flying away, then something is wrong. But I'm telling you, it's a wonderful Friday. Thank God we've made it to Friday. For those of you who are still in the land of the living, it is Friday and August is almost through, and we are grateful, we are thankful. So let me take this time to welcome each and every one of you, my producers, my editors, all those who are working in the background. Yes, and it is so good to be alive and be in your right mind. I'm feeling so exhausted this evening, but you know what? This show is becoming so important to many of us. So help me welcome my co host, Hadassah. I want to call her Bubbly Hadassah.
Oh my gosh, now I have to live up to that. Good evening, Trinidad and Tobago. It's so good to be here on another episode of Real Talk Corner Live. Um, like I say, it's always a privilege. When I close my laptop when I finish work today, I clean forgot that I had this show. So this is the last hurdle, and then we can get to the weekend. I hope everybody had a great week. And I hope that any conversation that we have today would actually spark change and let people know that, yeah, your voice matters. So we're going to be diving into some things today. Um, our co host looks lovely as always.
Thank
How
you.
was your week, Esther?
Okay, my week was good, but between yesterday and today, it became so very hectic. And I had a very long day today, very exhausting day. Now, right now, people, if you see me falling asleep, just know I'm sleepy. I am really sleepy at this point in time, but I'll try to keep my eyes open for the next hour because I believe we have a lot of interesting things that we want to talk about. And tonight, my co host will take most of the lead, and I will just, kind of relax. But I'm here to really, let us know what is happening in Trinidad. It's a pleasure and a good thing to be alive and to still be in the land of the living. But you're hearing so much things happening. And of course, there are people who are taking advantage of others. And then you have the politics. Uh, I don't even know what to say anymore. People has become more and more shameful, shameless, more and more don't care, especially those persons in the opposition who really, I keep wondering what is their agenda. Okay, we know that you have lost the election to the United National Congress government, and you're probably feeling desperate because you were looking forward to things going the way that you are supposed or wanted it to go. But you know what? I think the change is for a better. The change is for a good. If we may not experience it immediately because there's so much to happen, so much things to change and put in its right perspective so that the people of Trinidad can benefit. But before Hadassah come back on, I want to recall that Monday night when our Honorable Prime Minister spoke about it. It really touched me because it is something that we are going through as African people in this country. When she talked about the PNM allow the 1% to take what belongs to the African community, and it is so true. I don't even think that some of us understood the statement that was made by our Honorable Prime Minister. It is very, very, disheartening because my family and my in-laws are going through something that I cannot talk about it yet until I get the release from my family. But clearly, those of you who can identify, especially from the African community, can identify with the fact that the PNM government is not for the African people. They are not. What they do is they have become a nuisance to the African people in allowing us to lose everything that we have to the 1%. Or do we want to say to the Syrian community, whatever it is, and with no kind of remorse, and then turn around to talk about we are lazy. Yes, some of us may be lazy, and I'm saying this with all good intent, and we need to wake up. We need to start reclaiming what belongs to us and stop being, that gimme, gimme kind of responsibilities that we take upon ourselves. Gimme, gimme, gimme. We have to get up, and it's going to be harder now, twice harder than before, because the people who has our wealth in their hands refuse to give it back to us. But we have to fight, we have to work, we have to be intentional about what we want to do and what we want to regain, that especially what was taken from us. And you got to be proactive, people, Trinidadians, especially. And when I'm talking, because this month we are still celebrating or still, talking about the African community and emancipation, right? So it is sad, but when she made that statement, it really shift a nerve in my body because it is so true. I've never heard anyone spoke truth like she did when she made that statement. My co-host.
Indeed, and the thing about it is, when you start to about these conversations, start talking about these conversations about reclaiming what is yours, and talking about the concept of reparations and things like that. This conversation is going out to everybody, and it activates different things in different people. So I don't know if the producer knows what I'm talking about, but I came across a video on social media of a young man who was talking about, it's time for black people to get what is theirs and what they are due. And he was talking about um, using violence if that is necessary. And I feel like this is where we don't want the conversation to go. This is not where we want it to go. Um, in my personal opinion, the young man looked like, I don't know, he looked like he have a criminal background. Not to be judging a book by its cover or anything like that, but this is what happens when we start having this conversation. And he is not wrong in terms of what we are owed. It's just that the conversation touches people in different ways. So I hope that is something that we are mindful of, and that we will use and take advantage of the legal routes that are afforded to us, and really and truly hoping that it is something that the government is intentional about in creating ways and means so that what was owed to us comes back to us in a real and tangible way. If it is better and safer, cleaner communities, if it is home ownership, however it is that the people of the African diaspora in Trinidad and Tobago will start to feel as if they have a claim on the land and the resources and everything that makes Trinidad and Tobago. So yeah, it's going to continue to be a very interesting conversation. I'm hoping that nobody finds it uncomfortable, but we need to start having these conversations. We need to make people aware, people who have taken us for granted, who have taken from us, and that has just been the status quo. We need to make these people realize that it is not business as usual, and that, yeah, we are coming to reclaim everything that is rightfully ours. So that was a really great way to start the conversation. I wanted to talk about Esther, Prime Minister, former Prime Minister Keith Rowley, coming out of the woodworks. And whenever he does, it is always, you don't miss him. Whenever you see his face on the newspaper, you just have to sigh and be like, what it is you talking about now? Because every time he is speaking in the public space, it is always to stoke mischief and lies. Earlier this week, he had to be put in his place because he was talking about Brian Lara being an icon and how he needs to be respected and what the PNM did, and they built this stadium for him and in his name and whatnot and whatnot. And Barry Paderat had to make it known that he is a hypocrite because under the PNM, Brian Lara would have lost his contract through TSTT. So you cannot be talking about, oh, he's a hero and whatnot, but yet you didn't see it fit to make sure that he got his due and that we respected him as a son of the soil in terms of what he has done for sport, for youth, and for shining a positive light on cricket and Trinidad and Tobago. He was also in the papers today talking about he wants to implore the government to defend our sovereignty, and this is of course in response to the fact that the US, sorry, has launched warships into the Caribbean waters that is aimed allegedly at tackling the drug trafficking and human trafficking issues that faces Caribbean countries, especially as it pertains to Venezuela. I don't know if the producer has a clip with JD Vance speaking. Could you play that for me?
Want our people to be able to enjoy our beautiful cities. And the last thing I'll say is to the American people, DC is already safer than it was 9 days ago, but we're going to make it safer still to come. This is your city. You should feel free to come and visit here, have a meal, see all these incredible monuments, and actually enjoy yourself. And that's what we're trying to make happen. And I think that if we set a standard in Washington, D.C., that political willpower can bring some common sense, law and order back to these communities, then maybe some other communities and other cities will follow suit. So it's kind of crazy. You hear these guys outside, they appear to hate the idea that Americans can enjoy their communities. They do the fact that D.C. a week ago had a higher murder rate than Trinidad and Tobago, which the United States State Department has said you shouldn't visit because it's unsafe. We ought to be able to enjoy great American cities. That's what we're trying to do with the Trump administration. And we want to thank
Thank you, Mr. Producer. Yeah. So that is really unfortunate that for everything that we have achieved as a nation, this is the global and general sentiment that other countries have about Trinidad and Tobago, a reputation that was born under the PNM because they did such a horrible job in terms of uh, securing our borders and being safe. I think that it is so very disingenuous, and Mr. Rowley has a lot of gall to be speaking now when he was so interested in being in bed with Maduro with the dragon gas deals. Even while the US issued sanctions on Venezuela, he continued to go ahead and try to press the issue of the dragon gas deal, talking about our sovereignty and everything. But Keith Rowley does not care about Trinidad and Tobago, leaving our borders wide open, and we have seen the influx of Venezuelans that have come to our shores because of poor national security policies and for not equipping or selecting the best people for the job. So we have a whole issue of gang culture and high crime and things like that because of Keith Rowley. And now he wants to tell Kamala Prasad Visesa how to do her job. What do you think about this, Esther?
Well, the fact is what it is. From inception, even before Dr. Keith Rowley was the Prime Minister or became the Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago, even under deceased former um, Prime Minister Manning, we heard what kind of person he described him to be. So, I mean, having that information tells the whole picture. He he cares about himself. I know that he's not a person who cares about anybody as far as I'm concerned. I've been around for, sometimes in the past around him, his environment. He don't even like black people, or should I say African people like himself. So when somebody don't like their own skin color, it tells you a lot. There is nothing more that that you can say to convince otherwise, because it was shown while he was the prime minister of this country who he preferred and who he worked with and who he gave everything to. And even in one of his interview when he talked about he don't mind the rich becoming more rich to allow the poor to do what he wanted the rich to do for the poor, because the rich people never really consider the poor. Most rich people, and this is sad, but it is reality, don't really care about the poor people. What they care about is exploiting them. They care about using them. You understand? Because that has always been it. There are people in public life who will talk about the African community. And when those same African people work for them, they pay them next to nothing. So we have to really evaluate the conversations of these people who we put in public office, who doesn't have a heart of compassion for the people on the ground, who doesn't care about the people on the ground, like our now Prime Minister. And I mean, we can recall her testimony or her giving us a little bit about her history, how she grew up as a poor girl, how her mother and father, how they were poor, but they worked their way up. They used to sell in the market and so on. So she understood. She talked about renting from place to moving from place to place. And a lot of us can identify with things like that before we became who we are, where we are more settled, and there are those who are still not settled. So when you have somebody who understands what poverty is and what they have been through with their own experience, you find that they have a more heart of compassion to those who are going through situations. But Dr. Keith Rowley and these people, I don't know if he ever went through those kind of situations, but they don't, it is seen in their action. They don't care about the poor man. They don't care about the African people. They don't care about the people with the same dark color skin that they have. And then, I always have to come back to the fact that they talk about the Indians. And I'm not saying that they are not Indian people who don't care about their own Indian people. We are all human beings, and based on our character, it will define who we are and how we treat people. However, for most of it, you find the Indians, even the Syrians, they support their people, they cover their people, they look out for their people. And whilst you may have more Indians looking out for the African people than the African themselves, they want to, most of us want to talk about race. And I always say when I talk about the African brothers and sisters, it has nothing to do with being racial. It has to do with the fact that I want to see the people of my complexion, the people who have the blood of Africa in them, arise, come to that place where they understand that they are not mediocre. They are like everybody else with the same intelligence and probably even more in some cases. The ability, the strength to get out of the situation that they're in, to stop begging, to stop, feeling that all they need is handout, but to stand up and become who they were created to be on this earth. And it's clear and it is simple yet so difficult. But you cannot depend on what we call the People's National Movement to help you as an African person, because they're not for us. They try to sell that it is an African party. The base is African, but it's not. They don't care about us. the things that even myself personally has to go through because of the PNM regime. I am saying that we need to be careful, African man and woman. We need to come together, come back together. We have lost a lot. We have lost a lot, but it is not too late to retrieve, not by violence, not by being ignorant, but by educating yourself and by supporting one another. Okay, nothing is wrong, and I would never say don't support the Indians or don't support another race or don't buy or whatever. But I am saying let us be mindful. Let us be mindful that we ought to support our own, to take us back to that place that our forefathers were when they came to this land. They came as slaves, but they inherited certain land. And I heard Hadassah talk about certain things. And one of the things she left out was oil royalties, because a lot of our forefathers, they settled in land where oil was a big thing and was being drilled. And the royalties were never given to us as African people. Who got it? The 1%, the Syrians, as the case may be, the French Creole, the high color people, because we were dark skinned and they didn't think that we deserved to have that. They saw us as slaves. We are still to be slaves, housekeeper and those kind of stuff. But we need to change our mindset, people. African people, arise. We need to change our mindset and retrieve by working and by going out, not with violence, but using legal means, coming together, whether we have to protest, coming together to get back what was taken from us.
Not through violence, but it will take mobilization through unification and um, mobilizing ourselves into groups and having our own African association that is powerful, that is a connection and a network of persons of expertise and things like that, and financial means, so that we will be able to afford to our people the same opportunities that persons when they go to the Chinese association get set up with um, businesses and groceries and things like that. That is what we need to do. But Keith Rowley is such a hateful and divisive figure. He is the very epitome of self hate. I think the PNM is very good at projection. They like to say if you are an African person and you support the UNC, that it has to be because you have low self esteem or it's because of self hate. But he is the very epitome. He has a book from Whitehall, from Mason Hall to Whitehall. He is from Tobago and he did not even help Tobagonians. Could you imagine that? And up to this day he was in court concerning a matter of corruption in Tobago over land and things like that. And that is his legacy. That is the legacy that he has lost, he has left, and he has also left us with this legacy of crime where the US feels that it is their right now to intervene. Of course, JD Vance does not care about our statistics. I mean, over the last 6 months, we have experienced a 35% reduction in violent crime, which is very good for us after having been under siege by, crime culture for the last 10 years. But we need to be really mindful of this. I want the producer to play for me the clip of um, housing minister in the Ministry of Housing talking about the gang culture that the PNM has left us with.
Good evening, Trinidad and Tobago, and across the globe. Welcome to Real Talk Corner. Hadassah, how are you?
Hi, I am fine, thank you. How are you, Esther?
all said for years, why do we have gangs? Why isn't the government doing something about it? The government is doing something about it. Sturge, the Honorable Attorney General John Jeremy, the man has a laser focus. This ends in this, he says it ends in this term. It's done. And we understand. It's done. So you're mashing up a whole industry and they're going to push back. They're going to push back hard. They controlled billions.
Well, here we are back, and you know, I just get a little trip off there just now, but nevertheless, Hadassah was talking about crime, the crime situation, and so on, and the drop with the new government. So, I want to say that crime is everybody's business at this point in time, and I believe that this government, this present government, is doing everything in their power to bring crime to a halt, and it will not happen overnight, especially since it has been an ongoing thing for the last 10 years. I mean, before there was a reduction, and then when the PNM came into power, it seems as though the crime was one of their agenda in this country. Because I heard somebody say crime is a money-making thing, it's $1 billion money-making thing. So we have to understand that the powers that be, they are doing what they have to do. And of course, they can't tell us everything, but over a period of time, I know that we are going to see a substantial decline where crime is concerned in this country. There are so much things that is happening, and I think our Honorable Prime Minister made it very clear that she is not going to stand by and see certain things happen in this country. And if we are very fair, we know the people, the community that is responsible for the crime in this country. And we know even now the threats that have been made against our honorable ministers and so on is from a particular group of people. We know that. We are not foolish, because what they are doing have been interfered with, has been touched, and they don't like it. So they're trying to intimidate our government. But we're not going to fall for that. Those of us who have sense, we're not going to fall for that. And even those of you, especially the African young men and women who are being used as pawns for the activities of crime with guns and drugs, who we know cannot buy it. They don't have the resources. They don't have the money to buy it. And where it's coming from. Wake up. Aren't you seeing your colleagues, whether it's gangs, whatever, aren't you seeing them being killed, gunned down one by one? Your turn is going to come too. Don't you love or like life? I don't want to say love because I don't think some of you love it. Don't you like living? Don't you like being on the earth amongst the living? So then why do you want to kill others? Why do you want to take others' life when you yourself want to live? But just know, the scripture said, if you live by the sword, you're going to die by it. And if you are living by guns, you're going to die by it. So don't let that community that brings in the guns and the drugs, who have the money to do it and who feel that they run Trinidad and Tobago and the cartels belong to them and whatever. Come on, young men, black men and women, wake up, educate yourself. It's not going to be easy, it's going to be tough, but you have the ability to endure. You have strong stomach. Get up and do what is necessary. Plan some stuff so that you can eat. I know it's tempting. You want to bling, you want to wear the gold, you want to drive the nice car, but for how long? You all are dying before you reach the age of 30, 25. Our young black brothers and sisters now, they are being killed at a very young life because of their activities in crime. And I feel sad because I know they don't have the money to buy it. And this has been said for years. We know who are the big fish. We know the ones who are bringing in the guns and the drugs. We know the ones who are responsible for the containers coming in and not being searched because they have the money. One of them said they are the smallest community, but they're the most powerful. So you know what that means. So come on, African people, My life after serving God and being an example of what he wants me to be on this earth is to empower the African people, because the time has come for you to understand your worth, understand who you are, and understand the ability that God has put in you. Stop being the conduit that is being used to commit crime in this country. I know Hadassah wanted to talk about that. Let's take a break.
Good evening, Trinidad and Tobago and across the globe. Welcome to Real Talk Corner. Hadassah, how are you?
Hi, I am fine, thank you. How are you, Esther?
Stems. Yes, I can hear them saying, boy, stop living in the past. Where can I find that energy, the raw magic that comes down from the grassroots? Yes, I'm from a place where soca, the resounding power. You could feel anytime, any hour, sunshine or shower. You will feel it anywhere you look, and it read like a storybook. I come from when ground used to carry it.
Good evening, Trinidad and Tobago and across the globe. Welcome to Real Talk Corner. Hadassah, how are you?
Hi, I am fine, thank you. How are you, Esther?
All right. Oh, yes, we are back. We are back. And I just wanted, we always try to highlight good things, or highlight something that is going to help somebody. And I am just looking for, I'm looking for something here that a viewer sent, and he needed to get some assistance, and he wanted us to run this ad. He is a son. It was aired on CNC3, A Son's Love, A Family in Need. And he wants to return. Every day he cares for his ailing mother in their small leaking wooden home. The house offers little protection from the elements, but Kimrad stays because he refuses to leave his mom's side. He wants to return to work. He wants to build a better life, and the producer could run the little clip that he sent for us. But for now, his priority is his mom. Kimraj is actively seeking a remote job from home opportunity, but so far hasn't had any luck. Despite the ministry and a social worker visiting the family, no progress has been made thus far with the renovations to their home, which is in urgent need as well. If you can assist with building materials, labor, electrical works, a mattress, a bed, groceries, large pampers and wipes, new or in good condition furniture and appliances, or any donation that can make life easier for this family, please reach out to Kimraj directly at 752-0583. That number is 752-0583. Donations can also be made to his Scotia Bank Marabella checking account number 617-054-003-009. His checking account number at Scotiabank Marabella is 617-054-003-009. Sometimes the smallest act brings the greatest relief. Let's help him carry the load, and please, you can share it. All right, so this young man has been stuck with his mom, who is very ill. She is in Pampers, and he doesn't want to leave her alone. It's both of them. His father would have passed on some time ago, so anyone who is interested in helping this family, this son and mother, could you please, reach out to them, and the number again is 752-0583. I hope that some of us would find it in our hearts to reach out and help Kimraj. Okay, so it's good to do good and it's good to help. We would try to see if we can get some hampers and send by, but he is in dire need of the help of Trinidad and Tobago citizens.
Kimraj Rampasad lives a life of silent sacrifice. Each day begins in darkness as he cares for his frail mother, 69-year-old Hasina Hussein, who cannot be left alone.
My mom for years now growing up, she suffers from epileptic seizure. But since last year and this year, her seizure started to become more worse. That in January month, she was hospitalized 3 times, also diagnosed with early dementia as well. And in March month as well, they diagnosed her with rheumatoid arthritis also.
Once an accountant, graphic artist, and a social media manager, 30-year-old Rampasad gave up his career to care for his mother. During one of her seizures a few years ago, she collapsed on a stove, losing several fingers. Unable to leave her side, Rampasad pleads for a remote job to help him provide for them both.
I am trying to see to get a work from home job opportunity as well too, and some persons close to me trying to see what they could see companies who do that, but so far we have not been getting any luck to get a work from home job for I to be able to help out the situation for myself as well.
He says their wooden house at Caratal Road, Hermitage Village, Claxton Bay, is falling apart. The roof leaks, the walls shake, and the cold wind cuts through the gaps, worsening her pain.
Certain parts of our home need urgent repairs because in the nighttime as well too, when my mom room have holes and stuff, so when cold breeze and thing blow and her rheumatoid arthritis act up and that's real pain really bad. Sometimes I will wake up all 11 o'clock in the nighttime because I will hear she crying with the pain and stuff.
Rampasad says he is hoping to get some assistance to complete this front annex, which his father, Harold Rampasad, started to build 10 years ago. Shortly after construction began, his father died.
When I was working and stuff, easy. Well, certain parts outside, I will hire a guy to help do block off, continue to block off and plaster, whatever could have done and stuff. But it have been difficult because never really, with my job and thing, wasn't no big paying job and thing. So it was enough to basically pay for my little studies and help out with home stuff and everything. So never was able to complete it fully.
He is hoping that the public can help him with groceries, adult diapers, and some building materials to repair their home. Anyone wanting to assist can call the numbers on the screen.
Okay, so here you have it, and for those citizens who can and are willing to assist, please, the numbers are on the screen. Let us try to help Kimraj Rampasad and his mom to have a better life. I hope that the powers that be would hear and probably see the video and reach out to them and try and help them. They are in dire need and they are citizens of this country. I pray that God is going to give them the whatever they need to go forward as the people find it in their hearts to help. So let's get back to where we were with the crime situation. I know the time is flying away. My co-host, I don't know if she wants to take from here to continue.
Yeah, indeed. I mean, that young man is commendable, and it really touched me how he is taking care of his mom. So I really hope that this would go out to the people who are supposed to see it, and that they would get all the help and even some government intervention. God bless them. Yeah, so getting back to the point, before we had some technical difficulty with the clip, I think I was trying to make the connection between the U.S. warships in the Caribbean waters and the crime situation that we have in Trinidad and Tobago. And while if the troops in the U.S. troops are present in the Caribbean waters, will definitely stifle gun trafficking, drug trafficking, human trafficking. on our end as well, what we are also seeing is a stifling of crime culture in Trinidad and Tobago from the halting of CPEP contracts and, um, URP being investigated and things like that. So this is why we are going to have so much pushback. The point I was trying to get to in the clip is what even government has to endure when they go into like high crime communities where you have to get permission from what they call community leaders or gang leaders in order to just move materials and things like that so that works could be done. So this is the what we have inherited, and I'm hoping that over the next couple of years that we will see a reduction in that we will see a return to work ethic and hard work and people having opportunities to come out of crime and to forge their own path and stuff like that. What Esther was talking about with oil royalties and things like that. That would be great as well. But in a broader sense as well, if you think about the wealth that has passed through our country, we are a very, very wealthy country. If you think about the oil boom years and things like that, nobody in this country is supposed to be under the poverty line. Nobody should be poor because of the amount of money that has passed through. But we know that it was pilfered away, that it was looted, that it was stolen from us, and it was overseen by many, many PNM regimes. So it'll be good to see a turn in the other direction. And as Esther said on the last show when she told Penny to shut up, I think Kid Rowley should shut up as well. That's it. That's it for me there.
You know, what makes me feel better is smiling. Sometimes you really cannot think about some of the things that happens in our community as African people. And I think in one of our episodes, I would have shared that uh, we talk about the Indian community and the United National Congress Party. But do you know that we as African people receive more from the United National Congress Party when they're in government than when the PNM is in governance? So I want people to wake up. I really want people to wake up. I want them to open their eyes. I want them to see what is happening. And it's not about, even though this government is in power and yes, they are doing what they're supposed to do, what we put them there to do. I want us to understand something. We, the citizens, are the government, and we have elected these individuals to govern, excuse me, our resources and to govern the things that belongs to us in this country. We elected them because we know that they are capable, they are certified to do what has to be done for us. And this is why we would not sit down and let any government, any minister, just walk over us. We have allowed the PNM to do it for too long. And now you're seeing, as a matter of fact, we don't need to threaten the UNC government because they are working. They are working more. I mean, the expectations, they have exceeded our expectations already. Some of us might say otherwise because CPEP didn't start back yet and people complaining about, no money to buy books for the school children. But everything takes time, and I am certain that within a short period of time, things is going to come back, not just come back as normal, but come back for the betterment of those of us who were involved in these agencies. And some of you just didn't know or wanted to talk about it for fear of victimization, right? But I am saying that we have to have a little patience. I know that something is going to happen. Even after June 1, I understand people are talking, but I understand that the CPEP workers was paid a month's salary without doing anything. I don't know if that is a lie. I believe it is true because there are people who said that it was going to happen. And I don't think they will lie to the population. And school is about to open, yes, and there are lots of grants and lots of things given out for you. Find out where it's in your community, go to your MP office and let them know your situation. And I'm certain that they're going to try their best to assist you in some way or the other. So let us not throw up our hands in the air. It is a little tough now. It has been tough for how many years? Yes, you may have been cutting grass with CPEP and URP and whatever the case might have been. That is all. Your life wasn't being improved in any way because you were living day to day. You were just collecting some money, and as you get it done and you were satisfied with that, why are you being satisfied with what the PNM dish out for you that is of no value? There's no value in going out there for a couple hours and being lazy and just cutting grass or cleaning up there's a place and time for everything. We know that. But something better is going to happen. Stay put, be patient, and go to your MP in your constituency and let them know your situation if you are in need of getting grant to help with buying books and school uniform for your child or children, as the case may be. Don't just complain. It's not going to work for you. And we are heading to what, 5 months in a bit. Just now it's going to be 6 months, and I'm certain that after the budget, things is going to change for a lot of us. So let us keep hope. Let us be hopeful, and let us have no fear. Let us continue to pray for our government, pray for our Prime Minister, pray for Trinidad and Tobago, pray even for the criminals, that when they think about doing their wickedness, the Holy Spirit will convict their heart. And pray for those who are bringing in the drugs and the guns. Pray for the cartels. If you talk to God about them, He is going to help us to find a solution to deal with them. Pray for all the ministers within the Ministry of National Security, whether it's Homeland, whatever it is. Pray for every one of our ministers that they are going to do what is right, what we put them there to do for our country and for our citizens. You know what? The time has gone. I think we just have 6 more minutes. So I don't know if my co-hosts have anything to wrap up before we close out.
No, well, there's definitely you hear me? Um, yeah, there's a human cost attached to corruption. And so this is what we're actually seeing with the CPEP workers who have been temporarily let go until the program could be restarted properly. And I really do feel for those people who, over the years, have just become political pawns for the PNM. But the actual cost now is that they are out of work and they are feeling it. And while we understand that we want them to get better or do better under this new regime, the fact remains is that they were surviving on CPEP salary. So there is an actual cost, and we feel for them, and we want to hope that we'll be able to have them employed and on a road to a much better life, much more gainful employment. But this is what we have inherited from the PNM. Even we have residents in Princestown who lost, I think, 4 homes due to landslides. They are now looking to this government for compensation. I don't know if the producer has that clip that we could play quickly.
No,
No.
we don't
Okay,
have it.
but it was on the lineup, but there are residents in Princestown who lost their homes due to landslides. Of course, we know how the those residents were abandoned by the PNM and their cries were not heard in terms of addressing the erosion of the land and landslides and things like that. So now they are looking to the UNC to fix that. And like Kamala always says, she will fix it, she will address it. But it's all the pious behavior that comes from the PNM camp. Like if they were actually working when they left people suffering in this country. So there's a lot of work to be done. And I think a lot of people are expecting like a magic wand to be you understand, and that things will happen overnight. It does not happen like that, especially now where there is intention in terms of working with transparency and integrity, right? we need to make sure that all the ducks are lined up in a row, so that we could deal with all these issues. So yeah, that's it for me.
Well, indeed. Go ahead. All right. I think that, well said, and that is the truth. You are seeing a lot of people, coming forward and wanting to get compensation now,
Yeah.
after the government has now been installed and is here. A lot of people are looking towards this government to pay them, and all who were staying quiet before and wasn't making any comment, they are coming out now and wanting this government to help them. And it was said, look at this, look at the condition. I mean, if you have your home and it's like that, it's going to be very hurtful. But the PNM did nothing to assist them.
It's not one family, it's not one house, it's four houses.
Displaced and discouraged, 4 Princestown families are calling for help after losing their homes to landslips at Hadassah, Princestown.
I'm pleading to someone in authority, WASA. We need compensation. We need a house. It's not one family. It's not one house. It's four houses, and with the four houses, it's five families. So we asking for assistance. We asking for some kind of help.
The road, which falls under the jurisdiction of the Princestown Regional Corporation, is also under threat, and residents say temporary works done by the corporation have not helped.
The backfill here with sand and the slush in the back of me here, the water and the heavy vehicle pass on the hardcore on top. It pressed down everything, and every week the corporation have to send a load or 2 loads of hardcore material and put here for the last 2 months.
President of the Langwood District Improvement Committee, Ramzan Hussain, wants the Prime Minister to intervene and ensure proper works are done.
As the Prime Minister have rightly said, the communities, the people of the communities should highlight these shabby works, and we are highlighting here to the Prime Minister, let her know that the corporation is doing shabby works, and let her minister in charge look at the corporation, Princeton Regional Corporation, and get better work done. We stand for better work. We are taxpayers, and we can't be living this year round. It will take a lot of time before a contract is be signed here because budget and read as yet.
They also had a message for former Princestown MP Barry Padarath, who is now the minister with responsibility for WASA.
I want to tell Mr. Parrott we need some kind of compensation. We need house. We need somewhere to stay. Presently, we have nowhere to stay, and it's not one. As I said, it's not one family. It's four houses. About six families. We need houses. We need somewhere to stay. We need some kind of cooperation. We do have money to go and seek legal advice. One letter from a lawyer. A lawyer wants $20,000 to write one letter to WASA stating that we need some kind of assistance or support. We don't have that.
A source at the corporation says repair works have started at the nearby Mandingo Road, while temporary patching will continue at Hadassah, Princestown. CNC3 News reached out to Public Utilities Minister Barry Padarath, who said he will speak to the Member of Parliament Michelle Benjamin and hold a consultation with the affected residents. Radhika D. Silva, CNC.
So here it is. So clearly you see that the government is working. They are fixing, the corporation is fixing the place. And I recall Ramzan being, the supporting the PNM, right? Because he was calling for people to protest. There's no need to protest. What I think should come out of this clip is that the families who lost their homes, they want this government to compensate them, all right? But all along, for how many years, it was slipping before it felt like that, all right? They didn't ask the PNM to compensate them. But you clearly are seeing that this government has started work. The corporation is doing what they have to do. But I know that losing your house in this time, after you have sacrificed, is going to be difficult. So they're asking our Prime Minister, now the Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago, to lend a hand to give some sort of help in their rebuilding their house, because he is saying it's more than one family. So we know that the government is working for us. They are doing what they say they're going to do, but like Hadassah just said, there is no magic wand to just wave it or fling it and everything comes into play. No, everything is going to take time, but in time, everything is going to be okay. So again, we want to say hats out, to our government of the day, because clearly under the former regime, you were not able to even talk. All right, so let's just be hopeful, like I said, have some patience and know that everything is happening, because clearly you are seeing that work is being done. If they can get some financial assistance or get back, contractors to come in, the agency contractors as the case may be, to come and help them, in rebuilding their home when they're finished, that will be an excellent thing for this government to do. So I understand when you are without a home, how it can be, how it can feel, wanting to rent in these days a reasonable place to live in is not very cheap. All right, so we want to wrap up this episode. It has been a wonderful Friday evening. People, please try and be safe out there. Those of you who are liming, make sure your environment is safe. Make sure that you have people with you, young women, young men. Just get yourself together. Please do what is right for yourself and for others as we continue to live, as we continue to cooperate so that we can have a better life in Trinidad and Tobago. To all our viewers, we want to say thank you for viewing. Thank you for liking. Thank you for sharing. Whatever you do, thank you for encouraging others and encouraging us with your words of encouragement that you have posted over the time. And I want to say goodbye. We have said it. You have heard it. It's up to you right now to do what is necessary for you to have a better life. Until next time, goodbye.